Well, here we are, not on a Friday, but on a Sunday. It's 3:43. I had a very busy Friday and didn't get home till late. I was out actually having a nice time at an Asian festival of some kind, which was very nice. And got to make a bunch of new friends, which was very nice, but I didn't get home till late. So we didn't manage to get the accountability call done, and then yesterday we had a busy day. So today's Sunday. As long as we got it done, or as long as we get it done, that's what's important. But first of all, I need to bring on regional consultant Felice. Ricks, are you there, my lovely?
I am here. Hi, Richard.
How you doing?
I'm good. Very good. Oh, well, I'm trying to be just a little quiet because I'm standing outside of a banquet the luncheon that I was supposed to. Well, I'm in, but I said, hey, we need to get this done, like you said. So
hey,
there
listen,
you go.
have you eaten yet?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Okay, good, because I wouldn't want a hangry person on the call.
Yeah, that's never good. That's never good.
All right, well, let's dive straight on in. We had a good call Thursday night. We've got some good stuff going on, some stuff where there were a few challenges and stuff, and then Friday, I know you were busy traveling and stuff, so I'm kind of interested to know what we've got to talk about on the accountability call today.
Okay, so on Friday before I left, I had a chance to talk with another person. Well, one of the people on my list that we hadn't discussed, but I had called her and talked with her. Her name was Lorena, or still is Lorena, and we firmed up a date for us to meet on Wednesday, the 27th of September.
Awesome. Well done. Let me ask you, I got a question, because obviously if we didn't put an invite together, I'm interested to know how you asked her. What was, tell me a little bit about her and then why you chose the invite that you went with.
Just because she's been very friendly and more receptive to just supporting whatever I do. She's just one of those people that instantly are, kind and loving and wants to just kind of know who you are and what you're doing. And we did talk about this a little bit because I told you she called into the office and it kind of caught me off guard, but I was like, I might not get a chance to talk with her. And so I told you I kind of stumbled over and she's like, whatever you're doing, just let me know. And so I got a chance to see her on Friday afternoon briefly. And so we just firmed up an appointment for the Wednesday following because, I told you that I was going, and I told her I was going out of town this weekend, and she was available this whole weekend. But then next week when I'm back, she's going to be gone. So it was just a bit of that. So we just said, hey, let's meet for lunch on the following Wednesday. So that's our appointment.
Great. Fantastic.
Awesome.
All right.
And then,
all right. So that's it. Yes.
And then later on this afternoon, I'm making a call with someone that lives here to firm up an appointment, hopefully for tomorrow.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about this person.
This person, his name is Greg. He lives here in California, but he's got lots of family in areas where we service, like New Jersey and Virginia and a couple other places. He is an aspiring actor, but he's in his early 50s, I believe, and he has a family here. He's connected to the family that I'm visiting here in California. But he used to work for Toyota, but their headquarters moved to Frisco, of course, and so they moved from here in California to Frisco. So he didn't make the transfer, of course, and he works for the airport. I'm not exactly sure what he does, but he works for the airport now. But he was a manager for Toyota headquarters, and so he's working at the airport here in Long Beach, not like at LAX, but the Long Beach airport.
Okay, so bearing that in mind, what approach? How well do you know this guy?
I met him not just in person for the first time, but we've talked over the phone because his mother is actually who I'm visiting, my adopted godmother, and he was just kind of curious. He said, "Well, what do you do?" And I told him, the regular job. And I said, "But I also have a part-time business." I said, "Are you open to looking at new avenues to making money?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm interested in opportunities to make money." I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
Well.
All right. So here's something that's interesting. I would like to, for the benefit of the people listening, approach how you would invite this guy. But I want to do it in two ways. I want to pretend that he hadn't told you he was interested, and how you would approach him, and you're not going to approach him this way. We're going to, because there's a much simpler way, because he's already expressed interest. So first of all, let's do it the way you are going to do it, in my opinion. All right, the way I would coach him to do it. I would give him a quick call, and I would still be in a hurry.
Yes.
I'd say, Greg, hey, this is Felice here. I'm not. Are you going to try and see him face to face?
Yes, I'm going to try to see him face to face.
And when are you coming back home?
I'm coming back Wednesday.
Okay. So I would give him a quick call and say, hey, Greg, it's Felice here. I'm in a little bit of a hurry. I'm rushing around. As you know, I'm not here for very long. But I've been meaning to give you a quick call because last time we spoke, I mentioned to you that I have a business that I'm working, a business project I'm working on here in Dallas that's going really well for me, and you had an interest just to have a look. And while I'm here, I want to make sure I set time aside so that I can show you what I'm doing to see if it's something that makes sense to you. It may or may not be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. But what are you doing on tomorrow afternoon at like 3 o'clock before I go back home? Again, put some urgency in there. I know there's a Starbucks around the corner from you, and so I can do 3 o'clock, or I can do, in fact, I'll be there between 3 and like 5, so I can do 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or 5. What's going to suit you best? So we're not going into our why, we're not going into the purpose of the call, because he's already expressed some interest.
Right.
And those other things would be redundant, bearing in mind the way you approach them. Okay? So I'm sure that's how you were going to approach him. But I wanted to kind of say it out loud for those who are listening in on the call. It's when someone expressed an interest, then you're assumptive. You're like, okay, let's find the time so I can show you what I'm doing. So you're still in a hurry, and you still have the takeaway. So it keeps it relaxed. Hey, listen, I'm a little bit of a hurry. I'm rushing around while I'm here in California. But last time we spoke, I mentioned to you about the business project I'm working on that's doing really well for me in DFW. And you mentioned you want to kind of see what I'm doing. So I want to carve the time out to get together, see if it makes sense for you. It may or may not be your thing, Greg. I want to just say that up front, and that's fine. But let's get together for coffee, have a look, and see if it makes sense for you. And that's a really nice, gentle invite. It's non-pushy. He's been in the car industry, so he knows what pushy is. Right. And it's going to be you and him getting together on a very friendly basis. So that's how I would recommend you invite him. Now, if he was someone you were calling proactively and you hadn't heard from him that he was, interested to see what you're doing, then I would do a slightly different invite. And I'm going to give you that bit of coaching anyway, again, for those who are listening on the call. And this is, again, just my opinion. Everyone on the call has different ECs and different ways of training, and I respect every EC's training. This is just my opinion on the way that I would invite this, and if it works for you, then by all means borrow it. So I would go back to the 6 guidelines, but I would also add one other thing, because you mentioned that he's in California, but he has a lot of contacts and connections in other states that are deregulated and we have service in. So I might introduce that in there a little bit when I have someone like that, when someone's out of state. I'd say, hey, Greg, I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, but I wanted to give you a quick call because I've been meaning to give you a quick call. Do you have a couple of minutes? And he'll say yes, and then you go to why. Hey, listen, Jaden is going to be going into college in a few years. I want to make sure I've got time to get all the money together to make sure she gets through college without any student loans, which is, as you know, is the wickedest, loan system out there to put these kids in debt as soon as they get started. And I'm very keen for that not to happen and so I started a new business project that's working in a number of different states throughout the country. So that's a little different. I'm not saying it's working in the DFW area. I'm talking about in a number of different states around the country. Now, the reason why I'm calling you, so we go back, now we go to the purpose, is twofold. In fact, it may even be threefold with him. First of all, I just want you to know what I'm doing. In any business, we need to make sure that we network and we make sure that people are aware of what we're doing. But secondly, I know you have connections, and this is where it's slightly different. I know you have connections in, for example, Pennsylvania and Massachusetts. And I'm from Dallas. I mean, I don't know where you definitely are originally, but you just say, look, my business is growing in Texas, and I'm looking to expand into those two areas. And I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback, and maybe any connections you have in that area. So, specifically, I'd like to talk to you about that. And then maybe I would go into a third one, although I'm thinking this makes the invite a bit too long, but you can hold it there if you want it. And Greg, it may be something, since you, moved jobs, it may be something actually you want to look into for yourself as a plan B. And then I'd go into the takeaway. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea or not. And Greg, that's perfectly fine. My friendship with you is more important than anything. But you're out in California. Obviously, I'm here. When are you next going to be by a computer? And he'll say, what time do you get home from work? About 6 o'clock. Okay, I'll give you a call at 6 o'clock tonight, and I'll make sure I get you over a visual presentation so you can see what I'm doing to see if it makes sense or not. Now, note the wording there. I'm not saying so I can send you a website.
Right.
Because people can say back to you, oh, well, just send me the website and I'll watch it when I get home. You don't want to do that because two reasons. People mess it up. They put the address in the wrong box and they get to the wrong place. They either will do it, they won't do it. You've lost control of the appointment, and you're sitting waiting, wondering if they've ever watched it, and you're calling and calling and calling like the jilted girlfriend or the jilted boyfriend. We want to avoid all that. We want to make sure we maintain control. So I talk about visual presentation because he can't say, well, just send that to me. It's a little innocuous. So I'll give you a call about 6 o'clock because I want to send you over a visual presentation of what I'm doing for you just to have a look and, again, see if it makes sense. Again, it may or may not be your thing, and that's fine. But you're home about 6 o'clock. I'll give you a call about 6, okay? Great. Click. So that's how I would do that. So the things I changed in that very slightly were when someone's out of state, then I ask for their help and connections in that state because I'm basing my business in Dallas, Texas. And if I don't know much about Massachusetts or Pennsylvania, and I'd really, love to talk to you about that area, and maybe specifically, maybe look at getting some connections to help me in that area. And that's always been super effective for me. When you ask for people for help from people, they'll, as long as they're good people, they'll usually want to help.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do on that invite. Again, you're not going to use that one. You may, in your presentation to him, talk about the other states. Say, well, look, we're growing. I mean, Massachusetts is going like crazy. If he's got connections in Massachusetts, that'd be fantastic. But find out what areas he has connections, and say, look, we're growing here, and I really would love to work with someone in those areas.
Right.
So it's it can be quite a conversation. But that will be in the presentation when you're face to face with him. So does that make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense, and thank you so much for that. Because again, for me, I've got the scenarios that you've given me, and I'm not thinking beyond those. So, I'm trying to figure out which one of those will fit. But now you've given me something that'll fit even better.
Right, and so because again, the one thing that we talked about on the call on Thursday was. The one rule that overrules them all, like the one ring that rules them all, right? There's a kind of like a guideline 7, which is to be yourself.
Yeah.
If you were calling me, Felice, because obviously we're good friends, you may not need, and we're chatting every day, you may not need to go into all of the 6 guidelines. You may say, hey, Rich, what are you doing on Friday? I've got something, I want you to take a look at. I'd really appreciate your opinion. But secondly, it may actually be synergistic with what you're doing in your business. Just a nice, quick, bum, bum, bum. We're friendly enough for me to say, well, yeah, okay, great. Because we have that, that friendship. So always, when we're looking at the 6 guidelines, so there is one that overrules them all, which is like a guideline 7, which is just to be yourself. Don't be weird with people you're really good friends with. It's kind of weird.
Right.
If you started going through an official invite. So.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's Greg. So you're going to go with a short, sharp invite, which would be great, and that'll be great. So that's a score, right? So that's a result.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
No, I unfortunately don't have my notebook in front of me, but I think that was it.
That's fine.
I think on like tomorrow I will follow up on the other people that we did not get to, but.
All right, so we'll be on the call tonight, and we'll debrief the week. We'll kind of go through everything, and I'll teach you how to, purge, the list. Put the yeses into the system, and make the maybes a yes or a no, and get the no's into a drip list and stuff like that. We'll talk about it on the call tonight.
Okay.
But also, would you mind doing me a favor when you get some results after this week? Because we're not going to be on the call, obviously, after this week, as sad as that is. Just put in the comments how things went. If you had a result, if it went well, if it didn't went, just pop in the comments, because I know people read how things went, and I'd love people to be able to follow up and see what happened. Like, for example, with Greg tomorrow, it'd be nice for them to find out what happened.
Awesome. I would love to do that, yeah. That would be great.
All right, my lovely. Well, if there's nothing else, then we've got the call tonight, 8 o'clock.
Okay, 8 o'clock. What time is it your time? I'm trying to make sure are we 2 hours different?
Yeah, you're going to be getting on the call
2 o'clock
2 hours
right
behind
now.
me. Right, it's 4 o'clock here, so when you're going to be getting at 6 p.m. tonight, your time.
Yes, 6 p.m. my time. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had it right, the time difference. Okay.
And obviously for those listening in, it'll be 8 o'clock for those in Dallas and 9 o'clock for those on the East Coast.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, and anybody who's on Mountain Time, I'm not sure if there will be, but that will be just 1 hour. You'll be getting on at 7 o'clock. 8 p.m. All right, my lovely. Well, I'll see you on the call tonight. I'll get this call posted up online. So for those who people who want to listen to it, and I appreciate you getting on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.
All right, sweetheart. See you soon.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.